Nope. Not nearly as dense or as big. What's up, guys? It's Caliber here. And I need to move this real quick. Alright, so come and do a review of this. I know I've only had it for a few hours, but I pretty much got familiar with the tank. I haven't really noticed. I think I noticed one con. This is a con to me. We'll get to that here in a second. Alright, so starting off, this is a 41mm RDTA. We're just going to call it an RTA because that's what it is. So this is a 41mm RTA. Fucking massive. Pre-installed, it comes with the 28mm glass tube pre-installed. And one thing I've noticed, Jay Hayes did this. I did this. And so did Mike Vapes. I watched Mike Vapes' video today as well. After I got it unboxed and everything. And we all swapped out for the 18mm glass tube. I don't know anyone who's going to use, unless you want, we're going to get into this. So, unless you want to have an assload of juice in your tank, it is probably best if you just switch to the 18mm glass tube. Here's why. So with the 28mm glass tube, you're going to be spending about an assload of time trying to fill it up. Because the tank is so fucking massive, it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's tall. It's really wide, so you can fit a lot of juice in there. But you're going to be using, a lot of juice. Two, you're going to be spending a considerable amount of time trying to fill it up. So there's that. I mean, you still use a considerable amount of juice when filling up the 18mm. It's not as drastic though. Like literally, if all you have to work with is a 30ml bottle, this tank will drink damn near that entire 30ml bottle of juice if you have the 28ml glass tube on it. Although I don't know anybody that buys 30ml bottles anymore. It's people either buy 60s or 120s or even 100 mils. I've seen some people buy 200 mils. I actually used to have a bottle of 200 mil. It was what the fuck was it? It was BFB Liquid's Morning Fire, if you guys remember that. That was really good juice. Fucking loved it. Cannot find it anymore. At least not in a 6. Okay. I'm getting off topic. So, with the 18ml glass tube, you still are using a considerable amount of liquid. You're going to be spending a decent amount of time filling it up because, again, it's still even with the 18ml glass tube, it's still a huge fucking tank. Literal, a tank. So, get that out of the way. What is juice consumption on this? It doesn't use that much juice. I thought it would, but it actually doesn't. So, go ahead, show you. This is the same tank of juice from earlier today. So, juice consumption is absolutely great on this. If you like one particular flavor and you get this tank, just be minded you're going to be vaping on it for over 5 hours. Depending on how much you vape, keep in mind. Alright, so moving over to build deck. So it's an interesting build deck, and here's why. So stock, it comes postless. But you do get these little baggie of goodies. And let's see if I can get them out. Alright, so you get all this shit right here. Some little glossy style posts. A neutral block if you wanted to run it in series. And yeah. So that's pretty cool. They label it. I'm still surprised they actually got away with this. They're labeling this Lego style. Hey, I'm surprised. I really am. I'm truly shocked that this writing's still on here. Lego style modular build deck. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, not hard to build on. You do have to pre-cut your leads if you go postless. I went postless because I like low resistant builds. Right now, the build I have in here is a dual coil 22 gauge Canthal 8 wrap around a 3mm screw drive coming in at 0.26, and I'm vaping her at 5.3 volts, which is 108 watts, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. We're gonna take a hit off of here in a second. Now, wicking it. Here's where the challenge begins, because it's not designed like your typical RTA, where you tuck the juice. Well, you can tuck the cotton in the little cotton slits. That's what I call them. There's probably a proper name for them, but here on Mystic Caliber, we're not proper. But you can tuck them in. But I did Jay Hayes' method, and I just laid the wicks over the top of the port. The first time I did it, it was, I
usually cut it tail and just let it hang.
Yeah, you can do that too. But I tucked the cotton in the little juice well over the juice flow slot. And the first time I did it, juice went everywheres. I say everywheres. I was building on my Wismac tanker. Thank God it wasn't this mod, because I would die if this mod got shorted out. But it was on my Wismac tanker, so I cleaned that up, took the tank apart, pulled that cotton out, put some new cotton in, cut it a little bit longer, that way I can kind of tuck it in there and make it kind of snug. And that did the trick. So I will say this, when it comes to building, you do have to know how to build on postless. Well, when it comes to the wicking situation of this, when it comes to the wicking situation of this, you gotta play around with it. Like, don't go fucking crazy and waste cotton, but you do have to play around with it. So you're getting that out of the way. Alright, so because it has massive airflow, and you can put massive coils in it, what kind of juice could you use in it? Well, obviously, it's a no-brainer. You can't use Nic salts. Yeah, I mean, you probably could. I wouldn't recommend it, just because of how strong Nic salts actually are. What you want to use with this is freebase juice, like freebase nicotine. I would say don't go no higher than a 3. And I'll tell you why. Because I didn't go into full detail. So, a little bit of a long story short, well, I kind of did go into somewhat of detail. I have 6 milligrams of nicotine in here. I vaped back to back in a video we tried doing today. It fucked me up. Fucked me up hard. So, in something this massive, like this, like the Temple, like the Twisted Messes, or any large atomizer that has massive airflow, and you can put massive coils in, I wouldn't go any higher than a 3. If you're running a little bit of a higher resistance, say like 0.5 to 1.0, then yeah, you can go with a 6. You can go all the way up to 18. But once you start creeping down into the 0.3, the 0.2, actually, start at like say 0.45 and creep down to about 0.2 is where you want to start cutting that nicotine in half. So if you're vaping on a 6, you get to about 0.3, you want to cut it in half to a 3. And if you get down to say like 0.14, just go ahead and cut that in half to 0. I think that's pretty much that on that. Airflow. I actually love the airflow. The airflow is really, 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 really nice. Wide open, a little bit restrictive, it's a little bit more restricted than what the Temple is. The Temple's got 36 air holes. It's like breathing through that thing. Now, don't get me wrong. This is like breathing through it as well. Like, listen to this. It's like you can breathe through this. That's how wide open the airflow is. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But I use it with wide open airflow because I feel like that is like the happy medium for where my build's at and what voltage I'm vaping at. We'll get into cloud production here in a second. Well, actually, we should go ahead and do that now so we can wrap this video up. Alright. I'm not going to stand up because I'm too fucking lazy at this point. As you can see, it is a cloud producing machine. Absolutely fucking ginormous. Well, I can't say ginormous. My clouds aren't that big. But the vapor, I don't know if you saw that, but that vapor was fucking dense. That was the first thing Brittany noticed, was how dense the vapor actually was. And I think that's probably the first thing Motor noticed too. Man, I tell you, we'll talk about wire real quick. So, 22 gauge Canthal, right? That's what I've been using ever since I started, when I started building my own coils. I've been installing coils for 3 years. Yeah, going on 3 years, something like that. I can't remember. But 22 gauge Canthal is about what I would typically use if I wanted to do high wattages. It's not too thick, but it's thin enough that it's easy to work with. It's not hard to wrap or anything like that. But it can take power. And you keep adding wraps and wraps and wraps, and it can take even more power. That's what I use when I build on series mods, such as this. So, yeah. But it vapes great. This build in here vapes absolutely fantastic. The juice is a little strong for my taste. It's got a pretty harsh throat hit. But that's what you get when you're vaping 6 milligrams and a big ass tank with big ass airflows and everything. But that's pretty much it. Oh, hang on. So this is a review. What would I rate this tank? Well, I'd give it a 5.5 to 6. Reason why I'd give it a 5.5, not the best vaping RDTA. Doesn't have the best flavor. The flavor's pretty good on it. But because it's so big and there's so much airflow, this could be due down to my wicking. Like, I'm getting flavor, but compared to, say, something like a 22 jammy, we're just going to say that, compared to a 22 jammy, or 22 millimeter RDA, the flavor is a lot better on the 22 millimeter compared to something this big. It was the same shenanigans, or not shenanigans, wrong word. It was the same thing with the what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Same situation as the Temple and the Twisted Messes. Great cloud chasing RDAs. If you want huge clouds and a lot of airflow, by all means go for them. If you're looking for flavor, that's definitely not the way to go. That's not the way to go. Which, don't get me wrong, you can get decent cloud chasing RDAs like the Twisted Messes 22. It produces good flavor. It produces immense vapor. I've always loved my Twisted Messes. The original Twisted Messes, the Twisted Messes 22, not the 24, and not the squared. But by the way, the Twisted Messes 22 looks fucking, you can ask Motor, it looks badass on the Tugboat V1. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like.
I actually want to go ahead and end the video.
If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to be alerted when we upload new videos. Anyways, guys, this is Motor and Caliber signing out.